Notified everybody. So we're going to go ahead and start, and right now I'm going to turn the meeting over to Vice President Dan Martell.
Good evening. Thank you for all being here. This evening is our committee meeting. It's also our candidates night. Normally in our committee meeting, it's our workshop meeting. We have had public comments at some of our committee meetings at our discretion. If those of you would like public comments, we have a time set aside in our school board meeting, which will be next week. Because tonight, we're going to devote our time to the candidates to speak. I believe that there are 7 candidates. Is that correct? Each candidate will be given 10 minutes. As soon as you start speaking, I have my trusty stopwatch, and I will time you. And at 10 minutes, I will stop you. So what we're going to do, Mary will call the number that you've all been given as candidates, and at that time, if you could come up to the microphone, and then you're welcome to address us. Thank you.
The lucky first one is Sue Werner.
You know, I grew up as a Baumberger bee, and I was always first. Now I'm Werner. I'm always going to do that. But ain't necessarily
so. Well, good evening, everybody. Obviously, you already know by this point I'm Sue Werner, and I'm running for one of the 5 seats that are up for re-election. And I'd like to talk to you tonight and explain to you why I believe that I should be re-elected to my position. So first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. First off, I'm a 30-year resident of the district. My family owns and operates a farm, Werner Acres. A lot of you probably have driven by it. We do have a big sign out in our front yard. But we farm about 500 acres of various crops. We raise over 130,000 commercial turkeys every year. And this is the point, if you want to giggle about that Sue is used to working with turkeys and she does not know how to soar with eagles and leaderboard, go ahead and please giggle that right now, because I get it all the time. But I live in this community, I work in this community, I use as many local businesses in this community as possible. I'm not going anywhere, I have too much time, I have too much money invested in this community and in our farm. So I have a deep very deep desire to make this community the best it can be, and that certainly includes the school. One question that I've been asked an awful lot recently that actually kind of bugs me a little bit, and that question is, whose camp are you in? And kind of take a little offense at that, because I'm not in anybody's camp. If you talk to Dr. Bell, I don't think he thinks I'm in his camp. Director Seth, Director Gray, I'm not in any camp. I use my background, I use my common sense, I use my gut to make my decisions after I can carefully weigh the pros and cons of an issue. I'm not looking over my shoulder to see how anyone else is voting. I don't feel the need to vote in a block. If I see some of the members are, oh, I need to vote that way. That's not the way I operate, and I think the board members who are here tonight can tell you that. I think I bring a lot to the table when it comes to sitting on the board. I actually feel like I probably have a lot more real experience dealing with some of the issues that face or make up a district, probably more so than anybody else sitting here or those running for election. So you're probably all out there saying, well, Sue, that sounds really great, back it up. So I want to give you a little bit more information about me. I graduated from Manville-Clayona, and I went on to receive my Bachelor's of Science degree from the George Washington University, deep in the heart of Washington, D.C. So let me tell you right there, here I was, a little farm girl growing up in a sleepy little college town, and I went to college, or went to university, as I always told my brother, I didn't go to college, I went to university, in Washington, D.C. And you know what? It is a lot different than here, but it's part of what makes me who I am today. You saw a diversity of color, religion, country, type and quality of education that people have. I saw it there, surrounded me there, comes back here, and I can look around the community and see the differences that are here too, and how we best can attack those differences. So besides my church and my family, of course, there are three things that are very, very important to me, and I work tirelessly for. And anybody who knows me already knows the three of these things. It's my community, my children, your children, all children of all ages, and agriculture. There's a lot of, a lot of people come to me and said, have you seen some of the Facebook pages? And why don't you have a Facebook page? We can help you make a Facebook page. And you know what? I have some really, really cute grandkids, and I can put together some really nice fuzzy pictures of my cute grandkids or some post pictures. But if you want to know who the real Sue Werner is, you're not going to get it by looking at pictures of my grandkids or me posed up against the wall. I dare you, go out and Google Sue Werner on the internet and find out what I am really about. And you're going to find out that I'm not going to just make promises. I'm going to show you what I can do and how I work. You will find on the internet that I've chaired the Lebanon Area Fair for the past 25 years, where you don't sit back on your laurels. You need to be constantly embracing, looking for new ideas, working with the government, figuring out how to work out with all types of people. I've been a 4-H leader, teaching kids for over 30 years, and matter of fact, I was just named the 2015 Pennsylvania Volunteer of the Year, and I'm going on to regional and national competition. I served on the Lebanon County 4-H Board of Directors, making policy and seeing that all kids are reached fairly. I sit on the Board of Directors for the Matthews Library in Fredericksburg. We all know how important our libraries are to education. I'm a member of the Board of Directors for the IU13. I serve on state agricultural promotion boards. I'm secretary, I'm very proud of this one, of the Lebanon County Children and Youth Citizens Advisory Board, where we're studying the welfare and the safety, how best we can serve the children here in our community. And one of the most recent things that I've been on that I'm also very proud of, I'm serving on the Lebanon County Women's Commission. And it's a bunch of movers and shakers that are women. I'm so happy that they consider me to be one of them. But we sit down, great leadership there, and the things that I've learned from them, and I hope that they have learned from me, absolutely tremendous. I also know the strengths and the weaknesses and the personal concerns of the children in our district because I'm a release time teacher at Lickdale Elementary, and I get to hear firsthand from the kids some of the concerns that they've got at home. And I tell you, children are our future, and we need to be sure they are educated. We need to make sure they're making the best of their abilities and their talents. So lastly, I'm going to tell you about my family. And I looked at some, or people showed me some recent pictures, I guess I should say. And I was looking at the Northern Lebanon Spirit clothing, and I thought, oh my word, I probably have more than that in my closets at home. And I didn't buy them recently either. I'm a very, very, very proud mother of 3 very different sons, all graduates of Northern Lebanon. And through their school years, I've become more than acquainted with just about every program that Northern Lebanon has to offer. One of my sons has an IEP and needed special IU services and a sign language interpreter. Another son actually had a GIEP. 2 of my sons needed speech therapy. 2 were in the band. 2 were in the chorus. 1 was in sports. All 3 were in ag. 1 had dual enrollment hack classes and online B3 classes. And if you think, well, that's nice, our youngest child just graduated from school last year. What does she know anymore? My oldest grandchild just completed or is completing her kindergarten year, and I have a grandson who's 3. So I didn't get any rest. I'm right back at it. And let me tell you one little story about my granddaughter. She loved that kindergarten experience so much. When we asked her what she wanted to be, a bus driver or a teacher. That's the kind of enthusiasm that's out there in the district that I think we need to be embracing. So I've seen the strengths of Northern Lebanon's programs. I also doggone well know that there are weaknesses. I know where we've been. I know where I realize where we need to go. And as board members, we can't just bury our heads and accept status quo. As I said earlier, we need to keep growing. We as board members keep needing to educate ourselves, and I'm doing that too. Just over the weekend, I went to a president's seminar sponsored by the Pennsylvania School Board Association. Made friends from many other districts. I picked their brains. I think they went home staggering because I picked too much of their brains away. But I read, I research, I try to be the best board member I can, and I feel that I should be returned to office. So thank you.
Okay, our next speaker will be Rachel England.
Hello everyone, my name is Rachel England, and since we are running as a team, we will be speaking as a team, and we will serve the board as a team. We want to rebuild a better Northern Lebanon school district. While we each have individual experiences and passions we will bring to the board, we will work together to bring about a new way of running the school district. We have a vision for our district we will share with you tonight. Since I ran for this position 4 years ago and have had the opportunity to be part of this board for 1 term, I have learned a lot. I have learned that Northern Lebanon has wonderful principals and teachers and an engaged community that values family.
Hi, I'm Amy Self. I have learned a lot that we have a very special community here that many districts only dream of having. But there are also some things that I have learned that help me better understand our deficits.
Our financial status has been a concern for this board and for the community because of the many cuts that have been made and the increase in taxes. We look forward to analyzing the budget to ensure efficiency.
Hi, I'm Stacey Murray, and I am convinced that the biggest problem we face currently is the culture of negativity and fear that leads to division.
This division affects not only our school board, but the administrators, the teachers, and ultimately our students.
Hi, I'm Nate Erdman, And we're running as a team because we envision a district where the board, administrators, teachers, and community come together to work as a united team on the challenges of our district.
We envision a place where administrators and teachers are valued and encouraged. A place where parents are respected because we know that parents truly know what's best for their children. We welcome parents to share their ideas with us and give us suggestions for improvement.
We envision a district where it is abundantly obvious to all that this is a district that cares for each other and is deeply committed to the task of making this a wonderful place to educate our children.
For those who have served on this board for a number of years, it is very easy to forget how you got here. Many veteran board members seem to get lost in the work at hand, or perhaps the power of the position, and forget that it is the community that elects you.
Therefore, the community should affect our decisions, because ultimately they are the parents and grandparents of the children that we say we are putting first.
If we lose sight of what is important to our community, then we lose sight of what is important to our district, because truly our community makes up our district.
With the right leadership on our board, we can create a culture where this happens. Then, and only then, can we truly fulfill our motto of putting kids first.
4 years ago, I ran for school director with the goal of wanting to represent parents and support teachers.
And this time, for our second term, and with this team of 5, we are running with the goal of building accountable leadership, community partnership, and most importantly, excellent academics.
We believe that the best way to accomplish restored credibility with the community, trustworthiness as a team, support of the NL staff, and academic success is.
Number 1, accountable leadership. Too often in our district, the goal is to preserve and to protect people in leadership positions.
A culture of fear permeates the district, where silence is rewarded instead of progress.
We can do better. We want a district that strives every day to do better.
The path to excellence, whether in the classroom, on the athletic field, or even in the working world, is to face problems head-on, admit mistakes, and seek solutions.
As a board, we must keep our word. We must follow through with the motions that we have passed.
If we say we will not discuss clustering for 5 years, we must not do it, including kindergarten clustering, Amy, so.
If we vote to redistrict, we must do it.
If we say we are going to be open and transparent in committee meetings with our solicitor here, we must do it.
These are fatal mistakes that have damaged the board's credibility with our community.
We must also make sure we're keeping each other accountable.
Ronald Reagan said, "Trust but verify." This includes supporting one another and disagreeing agreeably.
Amy and I have disagreed, but we never went personal by slamming each other, we never quit believing in each other, and we never stopped respecting one another.
It can be done.
Number 2, community partnership. The current distrust between the board and community is the result of poor communication.
Too often, board meetings are characterized by frustration and breakdown.
Most frustrating, this breakdown is often blamed on community members.
We can do better. We want a district that partners with members of the community to find not just solutions to the challenges,
But opportunities for innovation.
Number 3, excellent academics. We believe Northern Lebanon has great kids and great teachers.
Unfortunately, the practices of our district, handling of IEPs, curriculum, assessments, class size, have not fully supported the educational process.
Housing prices in our community are staggering because people are moving out, concerned about the quality of their child's education.
our performance does not reflect the capabilities of our teachers or our students.
We can do better. We want a district where parents have the confidence that their children and teachers have the resources they need to succeed and implement a solid curriculum.
We want a district where teachers have the confidence that the board stands ready to equip them.
We want a district where people want to move into our neighborhoods because they have heard about how good our schools are.
To accomplish academic excellence, We must end this cycle of intimidation, fear, and division within our administration and our staff.
One way to begin this is by securing a contract with our teachers. 2 years without a contract is much too long.
In order for the teachers to meet us in the middle, we must first respect them. We need to show them that despite our differences, we support their hard work and all they do to educate our children.
We can help our teachers become better by providing needed and appropriate professional development and training.
We can encourage our teachers and administrators with visits, positive words, and a smile. Solid support will go a long way in building morale and having a district that works together.
I am looking for unity, but not uniformity.
Not a good old boys club that in reality is a culture of coercion where we're forced to promote the company line.
This all begins at the top, with us as board members, then with the superintendent and administrators. And if we can get it right,
Then it will trickle down to our kids that we are trying to put first.
So, with a team who would also like to see this happen, and by following our code of ethics and believing in our time-honored traditions, this goal can be accomplished, and then our district philosophy of kids first can truly be experienced. For Northern Lebanon, we will do better.
We are Nate Erdman,
Rachel England,
Beth Heckman.
Stacy Murray,
Amy Sell.
and we are 5 for NL.
Just from a timing point of view,
That's all of us.
that was a good presentation. Do you wish to speak individually also? No, okay.
And then I think we'll go to Lauren.
Well, because I am running independently, it's just going to be me up here. I am Laura Snavely, and I'm sure most of you are probably wondering who I am. So I thought I'd share a little bit about myself. I'm 23. I live in Jonestown, and I was homeschooled, kindergarten through 12th grade. Lived in the district my whole life. After high school, I attended Pensacola Christian College, where I received my associate's degree in medical office systems, and I'm now the office manager at Fredericksburg Family Eye Care for about 4 years now. There's a few reasons why I'm running for the school board, and the first is that I've been trying to get involved in the local community for a while now, and when the opportunity presented itself to run for the school board, I thought that's a good way to get involved, a good way to have an impact on the local community, have an impact on education, and to be able to work alongside parents and teachers to help improve education. Second reason is that I like to have an effect on where and how our tax dollars are being used. I think we all agree that we like to see our tax money used wisely, and I'd like to have an effect on that. Third reason is that I'd like to ensure that the principles that I've already used in place stay. Principles such as the code of ethics, the time-honored tradition, and the use of the Pledge of Allegiance are still used in our school system. So those are 3 reasons I'm running, but I'd like to add a fourth. I have been observing the latest school board meetings and talked to a lot of people trying to get down to the bottom of why our district is in such turmoil. And I believe that something needs to happen to mold everybody back together again. But my concern is for the kids. I worked around kids through different situations long enough to know that they watch and observe everything you do, and oftentimes they mimic what we do. And if they see us meaning the leadership, not being able to come up with a peaceful solution to the problems that we're facing, how we expect them to act any differently. And I realize we're not going to see eye to eye on every issue. We're all different. We all have different personalities, different outlooks on things. But you know, 3 people can look at the same problem and come out with 3 different conclusions. By being part of the school board, I will endeavor to listen to the community and to work with the school board to come up with a peaceful solution to the problems that we're facing. I will strive to be honest and transparent, and to be honest and transparent, and come up with a solution to the problems that we're facing, to everybody back together again. If I may quote Ronald Reagan, peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. With all of this said, yes, I am the newbie here, I would be a new face to the school board, but I think that because I am a new person and I would be able to offer a fresh perspective on things. Now I do want to make something clear, like I said, I am running independently. I'm not running with any kind of group or with any kind of agenda in mind. I'm simply Laura Snavely. I want to make a difference. I want what's best for this district, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
That should do it for our Meet the Candidates evening. Okay, before we start going through our committee work this evening, I do want to announce that following last time's meeting, we did meet in executive session for a contractual issue. We will be meeting again this evening following our committee meetings in executive session for contractual and personnel issues. So at this point, I'd like to start with the Management Committee, Director Martell.
Okay, Management Committee, item A. Item B.
My only comment is Dan Heckman will not be receiving an increase in salary for this one. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. But we did look at, if you do look at a lot of the other school districts, the treasurer is actually the business manager, or the assistant business manager, and we're looking to go that route.
Item C.
Do you have any comments on it?
No, I think it's a good budget. They have quite a reserve that they utilize to cover the increase in PSERS, and the increase in districts is kept minimal. Questions? Item D.
Would you like to give us a little bit of a rundown of, synopsis? I'm sorry.
Dan.
Okay, you've received the new contracts from the IU on the special education, the district consortium and the Lebanon consortium. We're basically increasing the number of students from 25 students last year to 27 this year. That's not a big difference, just 2 students, but the costs to the IU are they're expensive. The district consortium is actually increasing $115,000. Lebanon consortium is decreasing about $3,600 for a total increase of about $112,000 on these 2 contracts for next year.
Does anybody have any other questions for Dan?
Item E.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. This is for the nutrition group. I think many of you are aware over the past 2 years, I believe they're for 2 years now, is it 2 years that they've been in?
This is the second year.
It has been 2 years. The first year, I believe that we were, or at least from my perspective, we were given some soft information about the number of employees being affected. At the last time that they gave us, I did not attend, but when they made a meal for the school board, at that meeting they did speak, and I had brought up the issue of fairness to employees. I brought up a specific issue. I asked for a reply to go through Dr. Bell. I'm assuming they did not give that to Dr. Bell because I've never heard of a response back from them concerning. Just as a little history, the gentleman who said, no, we never did that, turned out that he was not even associated with our school district. He was pitch hitting, so to speak. The actual person who could have answered that question was sitting in the audience and declined to answer the question at that time. And he said that he would get back to us, and he has not. And I think the character of the establishments and the business and vendors that we deal with reflects on us as a community. And so I will not vote for the nutrition group next week. Thank you.
Would anybody from nutrition group like to address anything?
Like you said, I'm the same person. I was there and I was not around at that time, so don't feel qualified to answer that question of what was said at those times.
But at that meeting, though, you did say that you led us to believe that no, it did not happen because you were not aware of it. But then only after the meeting, you admitted that, well, no, I wouldn't have known it because I was not here at that time. Was that correct?
Right, yeah, I said I was not aware of that being said at all.
Do you think that was misleading?
I answered to the best of my ability at that point. So.
But was your answer misleading?
I don't believe so, no.
You don't? Okay, well then, my vote stands.
Since this is approval for a contract, we put out
Not at this point. Not at this point. What we've had is the agreement originally was to they get an opportunity to review. If the board wants that.
Could I just ask one other quick question? Did you get back to Dr. Bell with my question?
I did check with people that were involved at that time, and no one remembered that conversation with an employee.
Thank you.
Item F.
If we do have these increases, how do we stand? I'm assuming nutrition group is the one that's asking for the increase, and would that make us standard with other school districts that you already do lunches for?
Right.
Are we behind right now? This would bring us up, or are you taking everybody up?
We provide a budget to the school district with different price increase options. This option meets the requirement of the school lunch equity calculator, which is provided by the federal government that we're mandated to raise to meet that regulation that was put in place as part of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. And each year calls for up to 10-cent increases to close the gap by the year 2041 is the time that they're looking at. It's a long-term plan by the government.
Last time the federal government we worked with this was 2011.
And I remember doing it at that time because we had to, our hands are very tied in lots of things, and we're well aware of that. I don't know if everybody out there is aware of it, but we know what we have to deal with. Okay.
Item G. Just have a question for nutrition on both F and G, and possibly Dr. Bell, you could give some input here. My understanding is that we've had a significant increase in free and reduced lunches. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of the most recent articles that I sent you out of Penn Live and identified the Patriot News. I think, Sue, you sent something out today. We've seen, I think, it's close to a 17% increase in the last 10 years.
My concern is, as a business, do these increases in costs in F and G on the people who actually have to pay for the lunches being used to offset the cost of the free and reduced lunches?
It's actually exactly the opposite. They were making sure that the paid lunch students are not offsetting the free lunches. There's a reimbursement rate, federal and state, for the lunches, and the paid lunch price plus the paid reimbursement should be equal to that free lunch, and it's not at this point. So if anything, it's working the opposite way, and they're trying to make it equitable that the same reimbursement is coming to the district for both paid and free and reduced lunches.
All right, thank you.
And I hope some of you had time to look at the article that I had sent out. It's not just us. I mean, the article was describing all of what South Central PA. That's we're all in the same boat.
Any other questions? Item H.
Can we have, can someone explain to me exactly what the mill increase out, what exactly this is equating to? Is this, and at what point do we have to adopt the final budget?
I'm not sure I understand your question on the mill increase, but the final adoption of the budget has to be done by law by June 30th each school year. So we have it set for our June meeting.
So the mill increase then is equatable to what percentage
Percentage. The increase that's listed there, which is what we discussed, was the index 2.3% and all the exceptions, which is about another 2.3%. That total increase that you see in there is 4.58, so 4.6%.
What is the process to us really looking through this closely? I mean, is it, can we have a committee meeting to do that, or how do we go about that? I just feel at this point we really need to look at that. I know we had discussed it before about.
It seems like we've had a lot more conversations about budget before this point in other years, and now I'm just thinking, whoa, all of a sudden it's here.
You can have any discussions at any time.
What?
So there's been reasons for that, why we haven't been discussing it.
And what's that?
I think you know what it is, that allows the community here, like, doesn't allow us to have the time. There are some important things that we really should be discussing. Some areas of the budget that my concern for a long time has been the pay to play. I haven't been in favor of that, I'm sorry. The pay to play, I haven't been in favor of that for a long time. For our students to play, to be in musicals and concerts, and I would like to have more time to discuss this also, because that's something I would like to see us reconsider. We are doing better as a district as far as financially, and I think we can take care of some of those costs that we've been putting on our parents. It's nothing more than an additional tax burden on our parents. That's one thing I would like to see discussed, and we haven't had the time to discuss it. So I'm not sure, like you said, we should have some time to discuss some of these issues that we had not discussed, and I would like to bring up.
I did see that information, just, well, we're going to pick on pay to play since you brought it up, Steve. You'd sent out information, and I don't remember who and all it had gone to.
I don't know if it went to the total management committee. I think everything obviously goes to you.
I've suddenly found out how everything goes to me. Thank you very much.
I think Director Halper has some questions.
With you. Okay.
I put it in request. I've been studying this budget, and I'm.
You're not on.
And I think I do agree with the assumptions that we are doing better. And so I looked at the entire budget and some things along with the improvements that Dr. Bell and the administration put together, which I think is an excellent thing. I'll ask him to go over that list better, but you know, the one thing when we were on the edge of financial stability, we had to cut a lot of things, not because we wanted to, but we had no other choice but to balance the budget. And in that budget, Steve, you're right, we put the pay to play in, we we went down to 2 principals for 4 buildings, and this year, Dr. Bell and the administration has put in to restore one of those. Some of the other things, and I'd like the board to take consideration of these line item by line item, not all or none. The first one is, we have been raising our taxes above the SOL index, which stands for the average wages. And the state allows us to have exemptions for special education and for the increased costs in pensions. Last year, our tax increase was the largest in the IU, so that's 23 school districts. So on a percentage basis, our taxes went up more than Penn Manor, more than Manheim Township, more than Elko, more than Anvil, more than anybody in Lebanon or Lancaster County. This year, Green and Clean isn't, the cost to the farmer to pay their real estate taxes is going up outside of what we do with our real estate taxes here. I know there's been talk that home values have been declining and people refer to Zillow. If you look at how they measure one's home value, real estate taxes is part of their algorithm. And they won't share it because that's proprietary and that's how they make their money. But I'm sure that they look at how much your taxes are going up on a percentage basis compared to your neighboring school districts. So it's not doing our homeowners any favors in the values when you're using metrics like Zillow to determine on what school district where you want to move into. So I think it would be healthy for the community and the school district and for our farmers that we stay within the SOL this year. And so if we did that, that would cost us $396,000. I also agree with Steve that pay to play was a gesture to help us through and to get everybody a little more skin in the game. And it's time to repeal that. And to repeal that would be $13,700. The third item that I have on my list is we are the only school district in the state of Pennsylvania that doesn't belong to PSBA. I went to a workshop similar to Sue, and they do have good workshops. They provide a lot of value. We don't have a union, so it's our professional organization. And to be the only school district not belonging to and being part of that, and they are a lobbyist in Harrisburg to get the things we need to get done. The cost of that, and there's different options, and I'm sure they might even give us a promo since we're the only school district in the state not to belong, would roughly be about $11,000. The next item on my list is the year that we went through the cuts, is we eliminated a music teacher. And out of all the things that we've done, I've heard from the public more about that than any other thing. And I think it's time for us to restore that music teacher. And I think there's, as many people educated me, there is great value to have music in the classroom, and it is affecting our music from our elementary to the high school, because we are now trying to plug in the music demands by sending people from the high school to the middle school to the elementary school, and adding that music teacher would alleviate that and improve our education, and I think ultimately improve our test scores. The cost of that is $67,402. On the line of test scores, we did centralize kindergarten last year, and we did see some people that didn't like that choice, but the people that I've talked to in the community have said it's gone very well. Ben, you did a great job with your presentation and where you shared the data of the extended kindergarten and how that helped the kids that need the help the most. And I think we could even reach more kids and really set them off on the right foot if we could bring the YMCA in for, I think it's an after-school program. We discussed it last year. That cost of that's $40,000, but we need the blessing of the NLEA, the union, to do that. I don't think that would be wise to proceed without that. And I hope that they reconsider, because if you're running on an agenda of kids first, right there's a great place to start. We've been running into more grievances, more right-to-know requests, and things that we need to get our solicitor involved in. I don't think our budget reflects the current environment, and I would like to propose adding another $10,000 to our legal budget. On the same line, we've had a record number of right-to-know requests. We've had so many right-to-know requests that we have a right-to-know request to know what the right-to-knows are. And that takes a lot of staff time, and anybody that knows anything about Northern Lebanon and wants to criticize us, we run too lean and mean. And because of that, we don't have excess staff to be making copies and scans and things like that. So at the current pace of the right-to-know request and additional requests from Harrisburg and things, I think we need to add an additional staff to the office at a cost of $41,456. Those items that I outlined would take our proposed ending fund balance of $928,940 down to $348,803. The big wild card that we have is Governor Wolf has a very generous budget to public education. We do not know what the House and Senate and the governor will meet, but other school districts are making assumptions to what they can count on. If you read the article in the Lebanon Daily News, the school district of Lebanon is assuming they're going to get 50% of what the governor's proposing. If we would get 50% in rough numbers, that could be another $500,000 to us. So that would bring our ending balance back up to $848,000, which is just slightly below the ending number of $928,000 that's in the current budget. So they're the things that I've identified. Maybe you've come up with some of your own items. Maybe some of these you like, some of these you don't like, but I would like us to consider all these to put them in the budget for next week. So thanks.
Does that include the raising? Does that include the 5? Does that include the mill increase as it's proposed? No.
My proposal is to reduce the mill increase.
Okay, so that's this is doable within that.
Yes, yeah, so I didn't figure out the percentage, but I think it's roughly, the SAL's around 2.6%, Dan, am I close?
The SAL is 2.3%.
Oh, 2.3%, okay.
I absolutely think that we have burdened year after year, and I think that we do, and I really appreciate the time and thought that you put into that, and I think they're excellent proposals.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, Dave, I think that especially the music teacher and the idea of the song, I believe when we voted on the tentative budget in December, January, not just myself, but many of the board members mentioned that, yes, we were giving permission to seek exceptions, but after all these years of increase, we really did not want to go there. So having a solution to do that and not increase above the SAW is I think a prudent thing to do. So kudos.
I also think that if we do these things, I mean, it is a fair number of dollars, and I really didn't consult Dr. Bell on these items. I just asked him to cost them out for me. And again, the list that the administrative team came up with, I think really also helps takes us in that direction. I don't think most people in this room know what's on that list. So I think it would, and it's been a while since we've discussed it as a board, if you wouldn't mind going over that, and maybe there's some things, if we do this, maybe there's some things that you might not want to do in your list. I don't know what your thoughts are related to that.
The list that you had received basically from us on the additions to personnel, I think I had given it to the press last month and given it to you guys probably 2 months ago. Grade 1 class size reduction at Jonestown, learning support teacher in the elementary, increased days of the social worker position to make it a full-time position, still contracted, half-time technology integrator, half-time elementary art and music, secondary industrial technology teacher, elementary principal, and secondary assistant principal. Those were all new positions that were looking to be added, recommended to the board to be added, that were already in this budget. Replacing a Spanish ESL position, replacing a grade 2 position, and then doing some reassignments to cover staff that had left. So those are things that we looked at to have added, and you authorized us to have that in the budget. So that is in that number, including at the 928. One of the things that I would like to redo is if you do go with a full-time music teacher, we might want to have the opportunity to rethink that half-time position. And I didn't have a chance to ask any of these guys because I didn't know you were going to say this, but they're shaking their heads, yes. So it's to be something that we obviously need to look at from that position. From the SAL perspective, I wholeheartedly agree. I talked with you as well as Director Warner as my recommendation to make sure we join PSBA again. And there's a lot of other things that you put in there, including the pay to participate, which I never liked to begin with either. So those were things that I wholeheartedly would make sure that we would put those in place.
The list that you referenced, that I thought that evening you were saying that we were giving you permission to release it. That doesn't have to be definite in the budget. I'm correct. I mean, those are. I mean, maybe I misunderstood that.
Not sure I understand your question.
The list that you're referencing.
Yes.
When you said, I thought that evening when we were talking about it, you were saying that we were giving you permission to release it, but not necessarily be in the budget. So it's in the budget now. All those things that were on the list. Correct?
Yes. That memo you received from me that had multiple corrections, that was back, I believe, in February, and definitely then calculations corrected in March. Those are in budget.
Can I throw a monkey wrench here to, didn't we discuss at one time about getting a transportation secretary? Have we thought about that? I just think, you know, right now, all buses are running, everybody's getting picked up, but you know what happens in the fall, and our transportation guys out on a bus run, and there's 50 million people calling in, and nobody's answering the phone, and the public's getting upset, and I just think we should look at that maybe.
Could we maybe combine the additional office staff to write the note person along with them?
That's what I was thinking. You know, maybe we ought to.
Great ideas.
Yeah, do that.
So you co-sponsor that one?
Yeah, I'll co-sponsor that one.
Paul Snyder, is there any chance of just cutting Well, then send him over here. I didn't approve these requests. I like that. You want your request approved. No, seriously, is there any way to?
It's done.
Oh. Hey, Dave's been working overtime thinking about these. I know you've been thinking about them for a while.
Yeah, so I don't want to shove any of my ideas down anybody's throat. So how do we procedurally get these added or not add them to next week's vote?
I was going to say, if we go through them one by one and see how we're all feeling here and getting everybody's comments on them.
I think that's good, and then I also think even as a follow